Have you ever walked into a room and felt like every single pair of eyes was watching you? Not in admiration, but in quiet judgment. You replay that one sentence you said 5 minutes ago and wonder, did I sound weird? Did I overshare? You smile when you don't want to, nod when you don't agree, and laugh at jokes you don't find funny, all to fit in, to not feel alone. This is social anxiety, and I know it intimately. But here's the twist. The ancient Stoics knew this feeling too, long before the term social anxiety even existed, and they mastered tools that helped them remain calm, present, and powerful in any crowd, in any room, in front of any person. Today, I'm going to show you how to overcome social anxiety using Stoicism, not through pretending to be confident, but by actually becoming calm, grounded, and resilient. So if you've ever felt out of place, if you've ever walked away from a conversation thinking I should have said that differently, then this message is for you. Before we dive in, leave a comment below and tell me, what's one social situation that makes you anxious? Public speaking, meeting new people, speaking up in meetings. Share it. You're not alone here. Please subscribe for more. Understanding social anxiety. Social anxiety is not weakness. It's a deeply human reaction to our ancient brain trying to protect us. Back in the tribal days, being accepted by the group meant survival. Rejection? It could mean death. So our nervous system evolved to alert us when we're at risk of being cast out. Today, even though the stakes are different, our brain still reacts the same way. It floods us with cortisol, increases our heart rate, clouds our thinking. That's why your mind goes blank in social settings, or why you rehearse conversations over and over in your head. But here's the thing the Stoics understood. While emotions arise naturally, suffering comes from our attachment to them. The Stoics didn't aim to not feel. They aimed to respond wisely. And that begins with the Stoic dichotomy of control. Epictetus taught one of the most powerful principles in philosophy. Some things are in our control, and others are not. Let that sink in. In any social situation, you cannot control whether people like you, whether they laugh at your joke, whether someone responds to your message or not. But you can control your intention, your effort, your behavior, your thoughts about the situation. When you release your grip on what's outside your control, something magical happens. You reclaim your energy. Think about how much energy you've spent worrying about how you're perceived. What if that same energy was used to practice presence, honesty, kindness? Stoicism gives you permission to stop trying to control the uncontrollable, and instead, focus on becoming the kind of person you admire. That is power. Practicing rational thinking. Social anxiety often thrives in the darkness of unchecked thoughts. You tell yourself, I always mess up. They think I'm awkward. I shouldn't have said that. But what would Marcus Aurelius say? He'd remind us that it's not the event that disturbs us, but our judgment about the event. Your coworker didn't laugh at your comment? That doesn't mean you're boring. It could mean they were distracted, tired, or they simply didn't find it funny. And that's okay. We catastrophize. We assume the worst, and our body responds with anxiety. Here's where the Stoic practice of objective reasoning comes in. Whenever you feel that rush of panic after a social interaction, ask yourself, what actually happened? What am I assuming? Is there another way to interpret this? 9 times out of 10, you'll realize your anxiety is reacting to a story, not the truth. Start catching these thoughts. Name them. challenge them. The more you train your mind to question anxious assumptions, the more freedom you gain. Building confidence through virtue. Confidence doesn't come from compliments. It doesn't come from applause or validation. Real, unshakable confidence comes from living in alignment with your values. The Stoics called this virtue. When you show up with honesty, courage, and kindness, when you act with self-respect, you begin to trust yourself. Let's say you're in a conversation and you want to share your perspective, but fear tells you to stay silent. You remember, courage is a virtue. You speak up, not to impress, not to dominate, but because staying silent would betray your values. That's a win. Even if your voice shakes, even if no one agrees. Confidence is the byproduct of virtue practiced under pressure. The more you choose virtue over avoidance, the more your anxiety transforms into pride. Not egoic pride, but dignity. The kind that whispers, "I was true to myself." The power of present moment. Awareness. Social anxiety pulls you out of the present. It drags you into a hypothetical future where everything goes wrong. But the Stoics trained themselves to return to now. Marcus Aurelius wrote, "Confine yourself to the present." That doesn't mean ignore the future. It means you don't live there. Before a social situation, take a few seconds to anchor yourself. Notice your breath. Feel the ground beneath you. Listen to the sounds around you. Then remind yourself, in this moment, I am safe. I am not in danger. I am simply here. When you're speaking with someone, really listen. Don't rehearse your reply. Be with them. Be in your body. Anxiety fades when you're not imagining a future catastrophe. And presence is a muscle. The more you train it, the stronger it gets. Reflecting on social interactions. The Stoics journaled constantly, not to document, but to develop. After a conversation, after a meeting, after a date, take 5 minutes to reflect. Ask yourself, what did I do well? Where did I act from fear? Where did I act from virtue? What can I do better next time? This practice turns every social interaction, no matter how awkward, into a lesson. You stop fearing mistakes because you see them as part of the process. Reflection gives you the perspective to see growth where anxiety once saw failure. You don't have to be perfect. You just have to be willing to learn. And that willingness, that's rare. That's strong. The Stoic path to social freedom. You don't need to become the most charismatic person in the room. You just need to become the most authentic version of yourself. You don't need to stop feeling anxious. You just need to stop believing that anxiety means something is wrong with you. You don't need to control others. You just need to control your response. When you live this way, anchored in values, focused on what you can control, present in the moment, you'll notice something change. Not just in how others treat you, but in how you treat yourself. With more kindness, more patience, more strength. And one day, you'll look back at the version of you who used to dread social situations, and you'll feel nothing but compassion. Because you've walked the path, you've done the work, and you've stepped into freedom. If this message resonated with you, leave a comment and let's talk about it. What's one Stoic principle you're going to apply in your next social interaction? And if you found value here, share this with someone who struggles with social anxiety. You never know whose life you might shift by simply passing along wisdom. Please subscribe for more such content. Remember, you're not broken. You're becoming. And that journey is the most courageous one there is.